grab some incense. This is a reading or just like a little session about how to deal with your bad boy. And when I initially planned this reading, I was thinking I was gonna be able to like tell you some kind of like surefire way to deal with like, I don't want to say like I don't want to say like narcissistic masculine energies. Hey Sky. I don't want to say that they necessarily have to be narcissistic, but they also like definitely could be. But I feel like it's like true that a lot of people can behave narcissistically when they feel insecure, because that's like that insecurity is the like core wound of the narcissism to begin with. So hold on, I'm just like trying to set up this incense because my thing fell on the ground. So this could be a situation like if you're feeling like you're called to this reading, this could be, doesn't have to be, a situation that needs like some purification, because it could be like an unstable point. So at first I kind of want to identify what like the challenges could be in this dynamic right now that you're facing, and then we can like start to more clearly attack this reading. But I actually want to review my notes because I planned this a long time ago and I just never got to it. I wrote this before I even came live. I said it as like the omen. This little alligator it has multiple purposes, but I like to think of it as a ward, so it absorbs a lot of the negative attention, I was gonna say, and negative energy that like exists in my workspace and is sent towards my craft. So just FYI, if you're wondering like, hey, why is that alligator there like every single live reading? Okay, so I basically wrote that the first point is that you can't control him, but only understand him, and that it helps to identify the kind of beast that you're taming and your personal compatibility with that type of beast. So basically what I meant by that is like, I think a lot of us coming into this live, if you resonate with this energy, you're probably predisposed to a certain kind of dysfunction, probably because you experienced something very similar in your home life, maybe even like a mirror energy from like one of your parents, kind of a thing. So I said, like adopting a dog, what kind of game does it like to play, and is it or is it not eager to please you? So you kind of want to like identify like who it is you're dealing with and how they're likely to trigger you, and you can't really know that until you've engaged with this person to a certain extent. So up until this point, I recommend just like maintaining whatever personal standards you have. And then next I had like identify your weakness / attraction to the beast and the root of a psychological basis. So yeah, like kind of continuing off what I've already said. Opposites attract and create challenge which are necessary for growth. So like me personally, I have like been up until this point in time in a lot of like relationship cycles. I don't know why I can't talk anymore. Dude, what's that about? Where like I have struggled to get to like the end goal. So I feel like if you are experiencing challenges here, it's just meant for you to like kind of come into a greater awareness of yourself, because that whole like mirroring thing is really relevant to this energy. Like you're attracting a beast that intentionally like kind of provokes a certain kind of weakness that you have. And if you're like a masculine energy watching this and you have like a bad girl, like it could be the same exact thing. Like I think that like just if you're coming in here, put yourself where you need to be. But yeah, I really want to kind of like come back to the point of like you not being able to control the person that you're dealing with, because in earlier cycles, one of the things that like really stressed me out in relationships that made me like crazy was trying to like control the person that I was dealing with. And I tend to attract a lot of like really strong masculine energies. So there's just really not a lot of point to doing that without like burning myself out in the process. Because I'm attracted to people who have like very strong individual independent identities, but I also feel often like thwarted by that in my attraction to these kinds of people. So yeah, let's just see where this takes us. What is the collective struggling with in their relationship to the person on their mind right now? what is the collective struggling with? We have the new moon beginnings in the reverse. So you could be like in one phase of a relationship and struggling to get to the next one. Hey, K Marie. Hope I pronounced that right. Sorry if I didn't. Intuition in the reverse, moon maybe. So honestly, some of you guys could be like, I don't even know if I should continue this. We have process your feelings, howl at the moon, also in the reverse. Everything's coming out in the reverse. And then go for it, reach for the moon in the reverse. So it just feels like right now, we're not like sure if we should even like keep going. And I can't remember exactly what happened in the scene of the thumbnail that I used. Like, it's honestly kind of like foggy for me. But I'm pretty sure like Jordan fucked up, and then Naomi is like just setting a boundary about how he can continue to interact with her after that. Like, she's not like ending the relationship, but she is like kind of creating a sense of difficulty for him. Not because like really even I think that she wants there to be a gap between them, but because like there's like this How to Train Your Dragon element here where like there has to be an equal and opposite reaction to whatever like instability has been triggered within you, because you're sitting in this energy of like moon maybe, so emotionally like once again unstable, and the bottom of the deck is Quicksilver moon changes. So it's like not only is the situation not stable, but it's likely to change in ways maybe that you can or cannot predict, and that doesn't really necessarily feel fair to you in this energy. I don't know if you're even in a commitment with this person. You don't have to be, but it does feel like there is like a standard that you can set for how you want to be treated, and that you're encouraged to set for how you want to be treated in this energy. So how to handle your bad boy kind of feels like more of how to handle yourself and how to handle your emotional reactions to what your bad boy's doing or going to do. So like this card right here, it says self-regulation in times of crisis, incoming triggers to anger and control issues. And my ancestors were like, man, like, fuck that bitch. It's like, let it go kind of thing. Like, it's not even a big deal. And if it is a big deal, like, okay, it is a big deal. But you don't have to let it, like, ruin your day. Another thing that I've learned from having a mom that's kind of like Real Housewives. So, like, because you could be, like, sitting in some kind of trophy energy where part of the reason why you are handling this bad boy is because you're kind of being handled by the bad boy. So like there could be some energy of like you being provided for or like looked over by this energy that you also like struggle with. Process your feelings in the reverse is letting me know that you're probably not going to be very successful in bringing your raw emotions to this relationship. Not because you can't, but because like the best way to handle it isn't to do that. Like there's some kind of like being called into a higher level of femininity in which you aren't like seen as being disrupted, which is interesting. Because it's like this energy, like you're allowed to feel disrupted, but as long as you don't like bring that energy of disruptedness to the relationship, not because you can't or you wouldn't be like entitled to, but because it doesn't give you the reaction that you want in this situation with this person. Like if they bother you, like coming to them and like complaining about it doesn't really seem like that changes anything about how they behave, because it's like the idea that anything they would have done that might have like been a transgression, they would have maybe even done that knowing that you would have been upset about it. Like this bad boy energy isn't something that is unaware of itself. But I do feel like you get to choose like how much you enable this person in their bad boy energy. And I don't think that it's wise to like completely restrict it, but that doesn't mean you have to like let it completely off the leash either. Like understand that you're dealing with like a tiger wolfy kind of person. Like know that about their nature, but then I think part of your role in this dynamic is to be a container to this person's feminine energy. Because their feminine energy seems like it's kind of dark and like primal and even volatile. So you as a divine masculine force, because everyone has both, being like that you're primarily feminine, because I kind of feel like that you're more calm, like you're meant to be the calm that neutralizes this person's like volatility, whatever. So like if this person's heightened and you respond with more heightenedness, then like the situation continues to like escalate in its heightenedness. So just keep that in mind. Like if you are ready to like set the whole thing on fire, then like that could happen really quickly in this energy. But like I don't know if that gets you what you want at the end of the day. Okay, let's see what else here. Tell me more about this person that you're dealing with. Let's use this untamed spirit animal oracle, because that kind of feels like them. Untamed spirit. This is someone who like I would assume, because you're like coming here and like interacting with this energy, is attracted to you and like in your orbit as well, to whatever extent that applies and feels accurate. It doesn't have to be that you're married. It could be that, you know, you have some kind of even situationship. Because I do feel like this kind of person isn't likely to like jump into a commitment. Like it probably would be hard to get that in the beginning from this person, because they don't really seem like they're like the kind to like readily give it out. And that energy of selectivity, like you're allowed to exist in the same level of it. So if they're picky, you're allowed to be picky. Like he's coming towards her looking for like some kind of sexual release, and she's like, no. And she is kind of refortifying and like reestablishing her quality and her standard by doing that. It's like, if you're gonna do this, then this is what you should expect as a result. If this is how you want to be, like, cool, you can be that way. I'm not going to stop you from being that way, but this is how I will start to become as a result. And it's kind of like in this energy, like just the presentation of truth to this person, and like trusting in their competency to understand what is and is not the right thing to do on their own, without you having to be the actual voice to say, don't do this, do this instead. Because I don't think that this energy reacts well to like being told what to do, I'll be honest. So tell me more about the energy this person is dealing with. Like, who is this bad boy, and what are their character traits that are relevant at hand? At this, bro. What did I say? They're a wolf. Okay, we have instinct and loyalty. So interestingly enough, despite this person not really being inclined towards like starting any new begin with you, they do seem to be loyal. Even if their definition of that loyalty is different than what you're used to, I think this is someone who could like be wild. So like this is the where the wild things are kind of thing. And there's a song, Bad to the Bone, by George somebody, Thornton or something, I don't know. I don't know if I just made that up. I could have just made up that last name, but whatever. Yeah. Peacock. Interesting. Yeah, I was picking up because I was telling you guys like earlier, like my past relationship cycles, and like the only long-term shit that I was a part of like before kind of like now was in high school, and it was with a Leo, and he was like a big Cardi fan and very much like into his image. Like he was in this like image cultivation phase of his life. And the opinions of like his friends mattered a lot to him, and it impacted our relationship because there were times where I felt he could be easily influenced to behave in ways that I didn't feel comfortable with. Like, not even like how do I explain that? It's kind of like, you know, you just notice the impact that certain people have on other people. I feel like this person could be influenced in whatever way. Even if it's by, like, substances, right? Like, that could be what's going on here. Like, I mentioned, like, volatility. And that's, like, part of the, like, calling into question of this reading. Because if you're, like, sitting here, like, listening to this and you're like, why would anybody, like, put up with something like this? I'm talking to people who are, like, damaged. Like, if you're attracting a bad boy, I think that you're like a bad girl, like honestly. So I think that whatever dysfunction exists in this person, like I'm not just like mentioning it to like attack them. I'm just kind of like I'm just hoping to confirm what you're already feeling and knowing about your person moving into this reading. Um yeah, my dog is like staring at me. I'm hearing 2 steps forward, 1 steps forward. What is that? No, it's not. I don't even know if it's 2. But it's I don't want to be me by typo negative. So you could also have someone who has some kind of like self-hatred, which is interesting here. Because I feel like they wouldn't like present that, but I feel like it would be there. And that's like once again narcissism, right? Like the whole root of being a narcissist is having some kind of like major insecurity. And we have life cycle in reverse here. So I wonder if this person has been through something or done something here. Maybe that like solidifies their part of like a wolf pack as like being a wild animal, but now like they feel stuck there, or they're still struggling to like rebrand something about their identity. So I mean, like, I don't know, identity feels kind of major here to this person. What else about them? Someone could feel like in this energy that they are not making enough progress in their own like independent life. We have independence in reverse and psychic powers, and like process your feelings, how the moon, the wolf over here, the beginnings in the race. So they can't move forward with you. It's not necessarily because they don't want to. It's maybe like due to some kind of limitation on their independence. Like they don't necessarily feel like they're just them. Like they're them and they're also everything that they're attached to. Golden Eagle. Wow. Okay, we have the Otter in reverse, joy and companionship. With the Seahorse, fatherly power and constancy, and a horse. Seahorse and horse. Interesting. Journey and ambition. Horse energy is Sagittarius energy, which is like so true to this because Sagittarius is the sign it's the sign where a person has to overcome their inner beast and kind of learn to operate out of a higher sense of wisdom, with Sagittarius being the last fire sign. It's like the most mature kind of action. So this is like, they're coming on the reverse with this horse energy. So I don't think this person is like, if they're like, they're probably like their frontal lobe hasn't completely developed. And even if it has, like, it's just this energy, they're still like growing into the person they're becoming. So like there's this energy of like hang in there from this person. Like, I'm not everything right now that I will be, or I still even have plans to change. Like, I know where I'm fucking up right now and I already want to change, but like it'll take me some time, and I hope that you will be loyal to me while I do that, like while I complete that cycle, and while this energy remains unstable. I think it's interesting that these like both came out as like 2 separate little triangles here, because it feels like, maybe like you're 2 of the same, but you're still separate, independent, like a mirror of each other, but still separate. So that hang in there energy is coming in, like, I'm over here doing this thing that I need to do for me. I hope that you can do what you need to do for you while I do that, kind of a thing. Like, this person is compartmentalized, and they might expect you to be just as compartmentalized as them, and maybe when you're not, that comes as a shock. Like, when you are more emotionally affected by their behavior than they may be expected or hoped, this person could feel like, oh my gosh. Because I don't know if this is someone who like is very emotional. I know we use like all these moon cards and stuff like that, but they're still dark, most of them. So I feel like you could be dealing with someone who has a lot going on personally, like whether that's responsibility in their career, or they're once again going through some kind of like identity cultivation or creation, rebranding phase of their life, or expansion of personal identity, skill gaining kind of energy, if that resonates. Like, this is someone who maybe could be who works a lot, like workhorse energy. Okay. And then that kind of ties in again to the energy of like you being provided for in that energy, and then they're like that being that understanding of compromising even before maybe this specific conflict comes up, if this is a conflict, and not just like the general overtone of your relationship. Okay, so I'm gonna pull from my ancestor deck to see how you're guided to move forward in this energy. I don't wanna be me. I don't wanna be me anymore. I wonder if this person has father wounds, like themselves. It's possible. Or just like some kind of like wounded masculinity. Maybe having to do with you, maybe not having to do with you. But if it has nothing to do with you, like if you trigger this person's wounds in their masculinity, that's definitely probably a reason why some of this imbalance exists. Like, you don't want to make this person feel insecure, for sure. Because this is someone who already has insecurities, and if you're already feeling like they're narcissistic now, like, they will get more narcissistic. So, yeah. Just FYI. Like, I don't know. Like, this person has some kind of, like, inclination towards seeking revenge. But it kind of feels like that could be a thing that happens in this situation. Like, one person does one thing and the other person responds. And the way they see, like, would rebalance the scales. And I even just say, like, be careful in that energy. Like, because, like, when does that really end? And, like, your guides are coming in to say, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's like necessarily squash the beef, but it's like fuck that bitch. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it, like, I don't know. At least your guides are coming through like that. I don't know if that's how you feel right now, but yeah, I kind of feel like this situation is at risk of like exploding when both people are like really leaning into their negative emotions towards the other person and not expressing them in healthy and direct ways. Like, yeah, Six of Wands in reverse. Like, this person is someone who desires to maintain their image of themselves, even if it's just like for themselves. So like, if they feel like they need to get back at you to like restabilize their confidence to move forward, then they will. And I don't know like how that ties in here. Like, if you have like entertained other people, or like if you receive a lot of attention, maybe more than this person does, and that makes them feel a way because they feel territorial over you, but maybe like struggle to like express that in whatever way. I don't wanna be me. I don't wanna be me anymore. It's stuck in my head. I don't know what that's about. Okay. I just want to pull everything, sorry. And now I'm just going. And this could be someone who like is like that, or they don't really want to talk about what they're gonna do. They just want to like pull up and do it. And this is the Ace of Wands, Three of Swords, Five of Cups. So this is someone that's not around right now, and that's somehow or in any way tied to like any negative emotions that are like at play. I would say like hold on, like hang in there until they like kind of come back home with this family stability. Like, if they are like someone who belongs in your home kind of a thing, like Chariot, home, literally. And this is a movement card, so it feels like, and then we have Quicksilver Moon changes. Like, things could actually resolve themselves quicker than you might imagine in this energy. Like I said, like, if you have set some kind of boundary and this person knows what they can and cannot do, like, they know that for themselves. Like, internally, they've already had some kind of, like, internal conversation about how they should maybe change, or just, like, seeing the errors of their ways. Like, there's a song by Lil Tyler called Change My Ways, and he's like, damn, I gotta change my ways. And that's what it feels like, because it's like this person now maybe knows like what they have to lose, or like how much they will lose if they stay stuck in ways of behaving that aren't like good, or just aren't successful, or don't reflect well on like the respect they have for you or for the relationship. Because I do feel like ultimately, at least for most of you, this is someone who does respect the relationship. I do feel like they have like impulsive reactions, maybe even out of like tradition for themselves personally. Like they're used to maybe behaving in ways that are hurtful to other people when they feel hurt. So you might have to like understand that about this person and how they respond to stress, because this like whole energy reminds me a lot of a kid that I worked with in daycare. His name was literally Aries. He was the tallest kid. Like he was built like a 4-year-old in our 2-year-old classroom, and he was also like violent. So like I was always writing this kid up for like climbing on things or like throwing toys at other kids, but he was also like kind of being abused at home, and you could tell that by the way that he like maneuvered through the classroom, like, and what he was afraid of in the classroom. He was always afraid that I was gonna like close him in the dark in the bathroom, like, and I had never done that, and I'd never seen any other teacher do that before. But he was afraid to be like left alone in the dark. Even though he was like a kid who was like autistic and like played by himself. I'm not just like calling him autistic. He was literally tested for it, and like evaluated by the state. So he definitely was like a little bit like wonky as a kid, but he needed special attention for that reason. And I was like happy to give that to him. And when he had tantrums, like they were the worst tantrums, right? Because he's like a 4-year-old size 2-year-old, and he's strong. Like he also bit occasionally. He was a fucking menace, bro. But also his dad, like I met his dad like maybe like once or twice, and every time he came in, he was like high as fuck. Like his dad was always high. And his mom worked like 12-hour shifts as like a surgeon. So like both parents pretty much always unavailable. And then like his other caregiver was his grandmother, who like every single time that I saw him or her and them together, like he was always getting like popped for something, because he's like a big and rambunctious kid who has an experimental, curious mind. But he was also like one of the smartest kids in the classroom. So there's a lot of things going on here. Like it's kind of like this energy of like give and take. Like he's like autistic, super smart, but also really easily bored for that exact same reason, and needs like constant stimulation. Otherwise, we'll start to destroy things. So like it's that kind of energy here with this person. Like you need to understand the beast that you're trying to tame. And I feel like moving forward, understanding the beast that you're trying to tame and also how that reflects yourself, like allowing yourself to see yourself in the people that you love, can be helpful moving forward here. And like escalating towards those more calmer, stable outcomes, maybe even especially in the home. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys. I hope that helped and that you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.